Welcome to the PTTS. Today's date is February 26, 2026. My name is Ning Hong Lam. Currently, the last few days, been very busy writing a documentary on my situation, emergency affairs stories, and right now I came upon a very important argument, and it happened at around 2000, where I was self-training myself very hard to be accepted as a journalist of the Beachcomber. So I'm gonna read out what I have wrote on this argument. The following is main concern to having one glance at my life on January 1999. The argument is I'm going to go through very tough struggles to self-train myself to journal keeping daily, and I'm going to beat overwhelming odds to be accepted as a journalist of the Beachcomber, because as a journalist I could have a slight chance to do something about the curse that cursed my life. At the same time, being accepted as a journalist could mean I'm going to die even more ridicule and painful than journalist John in Resident Evil 2. Looking at that argument above, I would argue that I have to go through the tough struggles, beating overwhelming odds, and paying the price of dying a cruel death so that I could be accepted as a journalist of the Beachcomber, because it is the only way for me to have a slight chance to do something about the curse that cursed my life. The following are my reasons for going through so much just for a slight chance. I would argue for one person who have inferior background and have no support to deal with the lies and deceptions on dysfunctional families, abusive parenting, and corrupted government is equivalent to that person have to die a cruel death. To go further with my argument, it is very messed up for me who got sunk very low, and at the same time I'm the only person who have to deal with the lies and deceptions on dysfunctional families, abusive parenting, and corrupted government. That would argue it as more ridicule and painful than journalist John's death in Resident Evil 2. For argument's sake, by this point, the argument is I should commit suicide because many of the people that I have made contact with in my my surrounding is very messed up. In addition, being accepted as a journalist of the Beachcomber spared me from commit suicide. So for me to return the favor for being spared, I would give everything I got to be a journalist, including extra time and overtime. To acknowledge my pain and miseries, I have to point out that being a journalist is equivalent to being enslaved into slavery. So that is where the main problem started. It is very obvious one day in the future I'm going to look back at this period and I'm going to point out that there are a lot of very messed up people in my surrounding. This means those very messed up people already foreseen I'm going to do this in the future, but they already severely made punishment on me. Example, they already sunk me very low and enslaved me into slavery. So pretty much that is one of the very important arguments to be accepted as a journalist of the Beachcomber. More or less, like, can't help it to have these thoughts on isn't high school years where it's supposed to, like, maybe a time of a life, where you get to, I don't know, like, be a high school student, things like that. Like I was saying, it just, I didn't mean, like, purposely trying to confuse the situation or things like that, but, I could vibe these thoughts like, or we could argue as arguments and things like that. It's just, I'm saying, just so pretty much, about this really tough time and because especially like, I'm not trying to confuse the situation, especially like someone bring up what about high school prom and things like that, it's like, for now I'm gonna keep it at, in general, this very important argument is hard to deal with, and because it is me, who it is me, my life, that is me and that is my life. It's make this argument even harder to deal with. So thank you for watching PTTS. Thank you for following PTTS. I'm gonna end this video in 3,